Good morning, folks. Clay Black, LBC Woodworks. Welcome back to my shop and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Remember, if you like what you see here today, if you like our videos, be sure and hit the subscribe button or click that notification bell so you'll get notified every time we drop a new video. Now, today's video is going to be a fun project designed especially for the new woodworker, the beginner. And quite often we see on all forms of social media, new woodworkers asking about, what can I make? I got to make something. My wife needs a gift for Christmas. I want to make something special for my mother. Well, we have the project for you, because quite often when those questions are asked, they want to know, they see them out there, want to know, how can I make a cutting board? I want to make a cutting board. Well, we have a special treat, and we're going to use cutting board kits to make these beautiful cutting boards, charcuterie boards, and all this is available from woodcraft.com. Now, it just so happens, if you've gotten the early fall 2020 catalog from Woodcraft, you open it up, and right here on page 2 are all their cutting board kits. So it's going to be simple for you to find what you need. And you better get some Titebond 3 wood glue to go with this, because you want a waterproof glue. But these kits will make heirloom quality presents for the chef in your family, your mother, your spouse, your grandmother, and you too can make these kits with the most basics of tools. If you have a complete wood shop, or you are a beginner and you have limited tools at this time, you too can still make these cutting boards. And you'll learn clamping techniques, gluing techniques, and all sorts of great things. Now, this is a 2-part video, so be sure and watch both parts. So without further ado, let's get going. And remember, you can get these kits at woodcraft.com. Okay, as I said in the introduction, I've got some pieces that I got on sale post-Christmas from Woodcraft. And these are cutting board kits where they've cut them to width and roughly hit the edges, but I will run them across the joiner to get a more precise joint. This is a great kit for beginners. I could glue this up just like it is, but I just want a better joint, and I want to be assured that it is good. But these look good. They've been sitting in my shop over a year, and they can make some good boards. The one thing about these boards is they're great for beginners, because there is an art to gluing up. And you know, hey, the first few glue ups I did were so whacked, it was absolutely crazy. But it's something you get more comfortable with, more you do it. But someone who's wanting to get into making cutting boards, this is a great way to start. It'll get your feet wet, and you can learn a lot. So, one thing you want to make sure of is you want to watch your grain patterns, and you want your grain patterns alternating with each board. And you simply look at the end. Is the grain pattern circling up, or is it circling down? And you want it alternating between boards. So, with all that said, I'm going to go to the joiner, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've run just a quick couple of passes on each edge of this. I like the grain, or the glue line. I've got my grain lines set up. Now this one, I decided last minute I'm going to make it into a narrower charcuterie board. Charcuterie boards are very popular this time of year. Actually, they're popular year-round. Charcuterie is basically a presentation of food. It's not a board. Charcuterie boards are a means to present that food. You'll have to get it for a full definition. But anyway, it's time to glue it up. Remember, this is a great little project for someone wanting to get into cutting boards. It's really not that expensive. You can catch them on sale, the kits on sale sometimes, but even at their normal price, it's not that bad. You can glue it up straight out of the box. I would at least sand a little bit on the edges and make sure of your grain orientation on the end. So let's get up. I'm going to put a bead of glue on this edge and this edge. The middle board does not need glue. That's just an excess waste of glue that's just going to squeeze out. Get a good coat on one side and you'll be in business. Now I'm using Titebind 3 wood glue. Don't use anything else. Titebind 3 is proven, and there's the Titebind Original or 1, Titebind 2, and Titebind 3. Titebind 3 is waterproof. Now you're not going to put a cutting board or a charcuterie board in a dishwasher. You're not going to submerge it in water or it's guaranteed to warp and maybe even break your glue joints, but you will put it in the sink and wash it off. So I just swear by Titebind, as most all woodworkers do. There are other glues out there and I'm sure they're good, but why did I start using Titebind? Because my daddy said to. And we always do what our daddies tell us to do once we're old enough to know that they're wise enough to know what they're talking about. My dad was my mentor. He was a banker by trade, didn't own a fishing pole, didn't own a golf club. He did woodworking. He predominantly did a lot of Quaker and shaker style furniture and did a very good job at it. And while I appreciate that kind of woodwork, it's just not my wheelhouse. I like doing other things, and one of these days, in honor of my dad, I'll probably sit down and make something that was of his style. What I'm doing with this top clamp is I'm putting the bar against it as I tighten up the pressure, and that bar will act as a caul to help keep the boards even, because they will shift this way during glue up. Once you apply glue, they become very slick. They can slip left to right and they can slip up and down. So I use that, apply a little pressure and tighten it up, and that's just enough to keep it from shifting in that direction. And I think we're good. No. Okay, I just ran these 4 boards through the planer. Like I said, you can sand these kits just lightly. It doesn't take a lot. I just did a quick pass. Why? Because I have a joiner, and well, it just makes sense. But if you don't have a joiner, just hit these boards with a light pass. But if you can get into at least a bench top joiner, it will make your cutting board and glue up world so much better. Whether you're making a little table, a cutting board, a charcuterie board, or anything, getting good joints is a secret to longevity in a glue up. And with a product like Type Bond 3, the joint becomes stronger than the wood. Now, here I've already done my grain orientation. I'm gonna glue the top edges, and then I'll lay them down this way and glue them up. This board I'll leave flat because it won't get glued because it's coming to this, mating up to this one. I leave it flat so that I don't forget and apply glue to it and end up with a mess. Because it's just, when you glue both edges, you just end up with excess glue that's just gonna get squeezed out. It's no advantage to it. And with today's glue technology, there is just no need. And always remember, close the lid on your glue. It will gel and dry up on you. And once it does that, there's no cleaning out the glue bottle and starting over. You gotta get you another dispenser or go buy you some more glue. So I just make it a habit of, as soon as I get to the last glue application, as I just did, I reach out and I tap the bottle on the tabletop here on my glue table. As you can tell, it's a glue table, and it's closed. Get yourself in smart habits. It will end up saving you money in the long run. All right. I have enough projects going on that I let my glue up sit overnight, 12 to 24 hours before I do with them. But I've never taken one out of a clamp before that. I know a lot of people can and do. I think it's a 4 to 6 hour time frame, but just don't rush it. There's no need to rush it. Don't get impatient. Let your glue dry. Make sure it's cured before you go on to the next step. All right. Good morning, everybody. Got me a cup of Morning Joe. Got my boards that have glued up overnight. Again, these are the cutting board kits available at Woodcraft. Great product for a new woodworker. You learn clamping technique. You might not have a planer or a joiner, and just a slight sanding on an edge, and you can have a good glue line, and you can make these cutting boards. For these, I've only used 3 of the boards on these 2. They're going to be charcuterie boards. I'm going to cut a little handle here. And this larger one, I'm going to cut in half, and I'm going to make 2 12-inch cheese boards. Now be sure and tune in to part 2 of this video series, and we'll finish up these heirloom quality cutting board kits for the beginner.